Studio, I'm joined by reporter Maria Finoshina. She just returned from the crisis-hit region. Good to see you. You were in Osh just this last weekend at the very height of it on Sunday. What did you see and how far did you get to Osh? Because I know it was very difficult to get into the centre because of the security worries and the shooting. Yeah,
indeed, Kevin. It was difficult to go to the city itself. We've travelled to the city, but we didn't manage to go to the city itself because the area around the airport was the only area allowed to be at that very moment. It was rather safe. Relatively safe near the airport because it was somehow patrolled by local police and troops. But no security, no safety could be guaranteed if we leave this area, and we were told about that. And police was all the time reporting that all the roads around the city of Osh were sealed, and they were taken, as we were told, by Uzbeks, gunmen, and their main goal was not to allow anybody to enter the city as well as to leave the city. So we are told that they started shooting every time they saw any...
How far away is the airport from the city?
7 kilometres away, but even staying at the airport, we were able to see, dark smoke coming out from the direction where the city is situated, and we've been able to hear gunshots from that direction, although we cannot say for sure whether they were rioters or federal troops sent to the region to restore the order.
As you're saying, you spoke to a lot of people on the ground there,
Indeed.
Uzbeks and Kyrgyz. What is the feeling about what's really happened here? What sparked it now, for one? How deep these problems go back? And what are they saying, how long are they expecting this to go on for? The people on both sides, there must be a lot of fear. We're seeing thousands of Uzbeks going across the border. Their homes have been burned down.
Yeah, the main feeling among people, both among Kyrgyz and Uzbek people in Kyrgyzstan, is a deadlock. Because they think that this problem is very hard to be resolved anytime soon.
Is this just the radicals on either side, or is it general feeling about all the people on either side?
All the people. And they say that, most part of the people in Kyrgyzstan believe that this is a provocation. So someone used this decade-long ethnic division between Uzbeks and Kyrgyz and use this and in its own purposes, political purposes. This is a hunt for power.
Well, most reports speculating that it was the former president coming back, Bakiev, because he's got a lot of support there, even though he's not in the country.
The people are divided, and some believe that the family and the ousted President Bakiev himself could be behind these clashes. So, and they say that they're interested in destabilizing the situation in the country to allow him to return to the country, to the politics.
Taking the politics of it aside, though, for a minute, there's a lot of suffering going on there now. As I just said, people losing their homes, people have been shot dead, their families, their friends, their loved ones. What's the immediate need for people there now at the moment?
You're talking about losing, they're losing their lives, and this is the most important thing now. We've heard many stories, terrible human stories about raped girls, girlfriends, murdered men, and even killed babies. But apart of this, this is a military conflict now, but apart from this, this is a humanitarian crisis.
So what's needed now, and are they getting what they need?
There is no food and no water, and there is no possibility to deliver it to the city because the roads are sealed. So markets and shops all closed in the city, no possibility to go out to, people use the products and medicine they bought before, so and no possibility to leave the city. So this is a kind of humanitarian crisis, both in the city of Osh and the city of Jelilabad. I've brought my report from the epicenter of the events. Let's now take a look at this.
Days of bloodshed in the south has claimed more than 100 lives officially. As both Kyrgyz and Uzbeks involved in this ethnic conflict are Muslims, it means they have to bury their dead within 24 hours. Many fear the truth about the real death toll in these clashes could also be buried forever. Shoot-to-kill orders remain in place, as well as a state of emergency in 2 southern cities. But apart from regaining law and order, priority for the authorities is also taking care of the injured.
Our doctors are working under bullets. Many of them have been repeatedly attacked, and the ambulances as well. Doctors are saving people's lives there on the streets, risking their own.
Since the beginning of the unrest, thousands of people have called on the emergency services for help. Many have been taken to hospitals in the region and in the capital. Some also said to Russia for specialist medical treatment.
Most are suffering from gunshot wounds. Their bodies are full of bullet fragments, sometimes big, but sometimes many and tiny. We will try to help them, but if we're unable, we will be sending them to hospitals in Russia.
One of those injured is Aidar. He's been taken to Bishkek National Hospital from Osh, the city in the south where the bloodshed started. An art student, he hopes Kyrgyz doctors will be able to save his eye.
I went outside and there was shooting everywhere. Some shrapnel hit me in the eye. It's still there.
This recent violence echoes the deadly clashes 20 years ago. The Osh massacre claimed hundreds of lives, both Uzbek and Kyrgyz. But 62-year-old history professor and Bishkek resident Muratbek Umaraliyev says the ethnic violence is just a symptom and not the real issue.
There are serious economic, social and political problems in our country. In this case, it's not caused by inter-ethnic relations, but obviously orchestrated by some very skillful hand to make one believe it's ethnic clashes, the consequences of which is the death of hundreds of people. It's a tragedy.
The interim government called on Russia for help to contain this spiraling violence. Moscow refused to intervene, saying it was an internal issue for the country to solve by itself, but pledged continued humanitarian aid. With the interim leadership fighting to keep control and tens of thousands fleeing, fears remain the violence will spread to the rest of the country. People here in Kyrgyzstan, as well as many outside the country, believe the bloody clashes in the south have been orchestrated and say those behind it use ethnic division to disguise their aims. Now they ask, who exactly is behind the bloodshed? Maria Finoshina, Kyrgyzstan.